Hey y'all, this is the start to a series of videos I'm doing where I'm redrawing some of my concepts from an art challenge into pixel art form. So if you're interested in seeing my digital art transform into a different medium, make sure you follow to keep up on that. The theme for this particular art piece is the theme Ancient, and some recent interactions with friends had me consider a skater grandma for this one. I had Earthbound on the brain for this. I do like Final Fantasy, I think I've mentioned that in a previous video. But I really like the enemies that you fought in Earthbound as well. They're really absurd sometimes, and I just think that's great. So I like to imagine this is just some skater grandma that, she's just doing her thing. So for this one, I actually took my original artwork that I drew in Clip Studio Paint and I shrank it. I don't want to do this for every piece, but I particularly like my posing on this one, and I like her design, so it's like, why change it if it's not, broken or anything? I think it's fine. Other characters and such I might do different poses for. This one's great. I do also feel like, too, that I still lack a grasp on 3D objects. I might have brought this up before, I can't quite remember. But I know her thighs are leaning back into her hips in a nearly straight line from our point of view, like we can't really see her thighs, but I wish I had that kind of imagination. That is definitely something I need to work on from time to time. Alright, so here I'm trying to decide on a color palette. Sprite has a lot of built-in ones, and they're really nice. My favorites are like Bubblegum 16, a lot of people swear by Dawnbringer 32, but I wanted to try to use maybe the Super Nintendo or Nintendo Entertainment System palette, but in the end, I preferred the colors that I originally had, so I ended up just making something custom. I really do not mind using limited color palettes. That's like a really big strength with pixel art, honestly. But I really wasn't going to get the skin tone I wanted or the hair color that I wanted or anything. And it just didn't feel like the same character. I know that I probably should have stuck it out, but nah, it's just, I wasn't feeling it. And honestly, this artwork is for me. I'm going to do what I want with it. This is more of a personal project that I'm just kind of working on, so I did more of a speed draw kind of thing with this one. I've doubled the speed compared to what it was originally. I know there's quite a few of you that do like to follow along pixel by pixel. I just feel like this one isn't suited for being followed along the same way as my 32 by 32 and 16 by 16 character sprite processes and whatnot. At least this is my thought process. If you disagree or something, just let me know. I can always upload the real-time version as well later on. Now, over here, I'm struggling with skin tones. I did learn from old dolls and stuff like that from way back when you could dress up dolls in your browser by, like, dragging and dropping. Just like HTML pages, sometimes CSS, and sometimes Flash, too. But sometimes when I hit darker skin tones, I have some trouble there, so it's gonna look kind of muddy or wrong or something. I don't know. I'm working on that. You'll see that I change her skin tone again later, but for now I stuck with what was in my drawing. And I tend to, at least I'm told I do, use more earthy tones in the first place when I'm drawing in Clip Studio Paint. It's just what I do. I guess I just wasn't really thinking about it at the time. Her hair was definitely a struggle for me. I felt like I really lost its shape overall. Later on, I do go back and figure out how to correct that. It needed a little bit more volume on the right, I think. I'm going to be laying some color down so I know what parts are where and everything, instead of doing just a straight outline. I feel like visually it just makes it easier for me to do what I gotta do. And here I am, fiddling with the skin tones. I don't want to lose my greens within one another, so I'm going to do the outline on her jacket. So I made sure to include the shadow in the crotch area first so I can separate the knees without having to worry about adding an outline there. I did leave a darker outline next to the red though because I hoped it would help reduce some eye burn. The feet felt a little tricky, but I rechecked my original art and the reference that I had also used, and I went for it. I always say don't overthink the pixel art, but you know I also overthink it too, so you do you. It was definitely a hope, but I had to add in the black outline after all. A little dithering, which is the little squares that I left on the edge of the shadows here, goes a long way. I wanted to avoid overdoing it because it can look really messy and noisy. I had to make sure I made the skateboard big enough to include some important details. You can still see that I struggled a bit though. I had to dig my reference and such back up to get it down right. My wheels stayed a bit square in the end, but that's just the nature of pixel art, you know? I finish up the torso shading here. I also wanted to make sure to add seams and such on her cardigan to make it look a little bit more visually interesting. I did go back and added some texture to the skateboard itself and her feet. I'm not sure if it was too much for other folks' tastes, but hey, it's alright for me. I also went back and tried to detail her face a bit better. I still wasn't 100% happy with her hair, so I played around with that a bit more too. The hands were more of a struggle than I would have liked. I could have just made mittens for hands, but I wanted a little bit more detail in there, and I struggled with them until I was satisfied. And here I'm focusing on the skin tone again. I do think I improved on it.
Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
If you made it this far in, I wanted to say I really appreciate you watching this far in. All the watch time that you provide by watching my videos all the way through will eventually help me get monetized, hopefully, which is a goal here. But really, I also would like to just have a small little art community here, you know? I'd like to be able to share my art with you, see what you guys are up to, you know? So, thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in again.